Hi everybody, welcome to What's in the Box. Today we're going to be having a look at Sturginium Skies, the new 2-player starter set for Dystopian Wars. Now, key thing with this, it is focused on your aircraft. So, unlike our Hunt for Prometheus, this one, instead of having lots of ships, we have some ships, but mostly airships and hovercraft and things like that. Also some SRS tokens because this big boy here can launch them. Now, let's start digging into what we get in our box. Okay, so let's start with our first sprue. We do get quite a lot in this box, and the sprues are very tightly packed. So, from what we can see on here, we have all of the components to make our bigger, like helicarrier type ship. So we've got parts of the hull here, so lower hull, upper hull, sides of the hull. We've got some of the turbofan blades across here. We've got some of the upper, I don't know exactly what you would call it, basically the main decks and compartments in the... Would it have a conning tower? I'm going to say it has a conning tower. More parts of that here. We've got lots of little turrets along here. We've got these, which are some little engine pods for our smaller ships. We've got these, which are rotor fans, again, for a smaller ship. Along here, these are the sides of the hull, which actually hold our rotor blades in place. This would be the top of our conning tower. Yes, I'm going to keep calling it that. We have more of our armor plates for our larger components, so front and rear. And these, I believe, are up the side, or do they? I think I'm wrong. Those actually go together to make one of our other vessels, so our medium one. So we've got the top of the hull for our medium one here, and then these two components come together to make the lower part of the hull, and then it also gets these two little rotor fans on there. Really nicely detailed. We've got some of our bigger turrets here, so we've got some regular main gun batteries. We've got some what appear to be missile launchers here, or rocket launchers. We then have our smaller ones here, so we've got top of the hull here, bottom of the hull here, and then, like I said before, our little engine pods over here. Pretty straightforward, really easy to put together. Our next one, I believe this is all for the same faction, is this one. So this is going to build some of our sea-based stuff. So we've got 3 types of aircraft and 2 types of sea-based for this. So we have some little submarines here, which are very simple to put together because all you're popping on is these little components here. You get quite a few of these in the box. I believe you get 6 of them. And we then have the components for our main big ship. Now this one, quite complicated to put together, and it does have multiple variants. So be very careful when you're putting this together. So we've got some of our ship's prows, you know, we've got the bow and the stern. We've got some of the sides of the ship here. We've got some more of those turrets. So yep, same faction, same style. We've got parts to make the upper conning tower and stuff. We've got some shield generators on here. We've got some parts of the back deck. There's a couple of types of this to make it longer or shorter as you're playing through. And then we have one of our SRS tokens on here as well. Pretty straightforward little sprue. We've also got another type of gun here. Ooh, fun. We also have this, which is 2 like drive pods that go out the back. All right, now for our other faction, this is the big boy for this. Now we get 2 of this sprue, and they're absolutely identical. But the 2 sprues do go together to make our one large airship. So we've got the side of the airship here, the rear and the front of it here. We've got the main flight deck here. And we also have this, which is actually the top component. So this will build in here, even if you're putting the flight deck on there. The difference is, see our little rocket pods all around here? So they will slot into here if you're building it as more of a gunboat. But if you're not doing it that way, you'll leave this empty and pop these on as well. And if I'm right, the top and bottom are identical. So basically on the top, you will have these slots filled out with the rockets or with the gun deck. And below, however, you've got bomb pods. And my favorite little bit is the little launch ramps for your ships. You've also got a spiky front, which is going to go into your nose cone. You've got some tail fins on here as well, some anti-air turrets on here, and lots of little engine pods which will glue around it. You've also got like 2 side batteries, 1 on each sprue. Digging a little further in, we know this sprue is pretty familiar. It builds our multiple types of medium ships for this faction. If I'm right, I believe this is the Imperium, the other side is the Crown. So you can build it as an aircraft carrier. You can build it as an anti-aircraft platform. Might be handy with this box, having some anti-air in there. We've also got some of our smaller hulls on here as well. Again, can build in a couple of different ways. You're going to be using this as well if you're building your anti-air, so it's like a railway cards that you're going to mount those guns onto. And then we've got our smokestacks along here. We've got our I'm going to call it a conning tower, but it's like the main control deck and the bridge. You've got your main deck here with the railway tracks on there, so everything rolls in, rolls off. And then on this side, you've got some more of your SRS tokens. Right, our last sprue is another one of our newer air sprues. And this one is going to build us 3 types of basically Zeppelin. So we've got the larger Zeppelins on here, and you've got a couple of variations here as well. So you've got a gun type, well, not a gun type, you've got sort of a more heavily armored one, a little bit more of an open one here. You've then got our smaller ones here, so these will go together and then link up with these. And again, you've got 2 types of these. So you're getting excellent variation. And then you've got your tiny little escorts here as well. We then have these components which go together to make like a front gun on the ship. I will say, whenever you're building these and popping these together, make sure this is glued together first and then it slots in before your top goes on. I made that mistake when I was building these myself. We then have some little side batteries on here as well. And then we have some of our rocket motors, which are going to go onto our guys here. And I believe that's pretty much everything, aside from some like little tail fins, which are also going to go onto these, which are mounted with some guns. So that's all of our miniatures. We also get some rather lovely sea bases in a few different flavors. So we've got our small one, our medium, and our large. Our large, obviously, that's for our big Zeppelin. Move these out of the way. Also in the box, we get all of our turning widgets, measuring stick, and our big template to measure out blasts or sprays. We get one of those in the box. Now we get 2 packs of these, which are a little set of status markers for whenever your vessel takes critical damage. Very important in game. We then have 2 packs of these, which are your regular dice. So you're going to be doing your hits, your heavy hits, your defenses, your heavy defenses with these. We then get 2 decks of cards. So these are your victory and valor cards. So these are playing for victory, you'll gain VP. Playing for Valor, you'll get a nice little extra effect during the turn. We also get enough bases to do any of our SRS tokens. And then let's get on to some of the more paperwork side of things. So we get 2 of these. So we've got our different status tokens. So ordered, disordered, and oh, I forget the other one. Just basically all the tokens. Because I'm silly and I forgot this, one of the other things that comes in here, which is very useful, is our 2 books. So you've got your main rulebook in here that's going to tell you everything you need to know about how to play. And for this, because it's Sturginium Skies, you get a little campaign booklet. And this is going to take you through a little bit of an introduction, a little bit of story, and then start taking you through all of how you build. And then after we get past this, if I keep flicking and flicking and flicking and flicking, we will get to, well, there's a lot of building in this box, I will say that, folks. We'll get to these, which are some of our rule sheets. So you've got all your rule sheets for everything that you're going to be playing with in here. And then on through to the back, the very back, we've got our different encounters. So cutting plan into the mist. So that's going to teach us how to play. Now, I've got some of these built, so let's get a look at them. So first off, I have built our big Zeppelin. Now, very nice, very cool. And like I said, you can see in below here, we've got those 4 racks. And if I can angle this just right, you can just about see peeking out there are our little aircraft that are loaded on there. So this top deck flies in, lands, goes down the elevator, and gets put in. It's also got some anti-air on there, which is quite nice. Really fun kit to build, and a lot bigger than I was expecting from this kit. All right, let's get a look at our smaller Zeppelin here. Now, like I said, this is one that I kind of goofed on, so I built it with the guns in the front, but they really need to go in before this top component goes on. But we've got our front guns, our little side batteries, you know, really nice crisp detail on this, and I think it's going to paint up great whenever I pass it across to John. We then have our even smaller one. So this is our little Escort, and it's literally a little 2-piece model. So top and bottom, job done. We then have our other little Zeppelin. This is the little guy that I said he has the little rocket motors on the back here, and then those little winglets with some guns in them. Again, super simple to put together, really quick to put together, and everything came off the sprues without any issues whatsoever. Now, we also get some boats. So we've got our itty bitty tiny ones here. These are, again, super simple to put together. You put your 2 little side bits on, the top piece on, and you pick whichever of the 2 gun variants you want to put on there. We then have a bigger one. Now, something I always do with these, I always keep my weapon systems unglued. So you've got your main hull here with your side batteries and your smokestacks and everything. And then what you can do is because of the way this is designed, these will just sit in while you play. So this one is done as an anti-aircraft. If you want, you don't have to glue the turrets down. I did for this one because, you know, we're playing air battles. I think I'm going to need some anti-air. But that's that. Now, our other side, the crown, we're getting some of these, which are big helicarrier type pieces. Now, I like playing with the turrets and I like trading out turrets, so I've left them off. But as you can see, whenever this goes together, it's really clean. A couple of little gaps, but once you have some paint down on there, you're really not going to notice it. But a really easy build, really enjoyable build. And when you pop your turrets on, you just imagine it flying through the skies. We then got our next aircraft down. Oh, and again, I do like leaving turrets off, but again, so you've got two halves of the front hull, the top, and then you put your winglets on, you put this little tail fin on, pop your turret in, and you're done. Really nice detail on this one too. Our last aircraft is this, and this almost reminds me of like a seaplane. It looks like it could land in the water, but again, little turret on there. You got your little engine pods, your top and your bottom. Everything goes together super quick. If you're a beginner modeler, these kits are not going to pose any issues for you. Our vessels then. So we have some submersibles because submersibles are cool and fun. And again, these were just nip it off the sprue, pop the little backpack on, and you're done. Now, this one, again, yes, turret separate. I've built, I believe this is a Newfoundland. Really fun kit. The way I generally do these is I get the front prow done, and then I get my front deck on, and then I use that as a base to actually start building the rest of the ship backwards from. So as you're building, you're popping a component in. So say these are on and this is together. This piece slots in, this piece slots in, and then I just do side to side, working my way back. And it makes the build a little bit easier and a little bit, well, less finicky and fiddly. But that is everything that is in Sturginium Skies. So everybody, drop your comments below. Tell me what you think. I'll move on. I'll see you again soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.